Out here at UC Riverside with the head coach of the Highlanders, Mike Magpayo. Mike, thanks for the time so far here. Give us some thoughts on your team this season.
Yeah, I think that we had a really challenging non-conference, and that was intentional. I thought that for this group to grow together with a lot of new guys, we had to collect experiences, and we collected some big-time experiences, North Carolina, UCLA, at Washington State, at Utah. And so, I felt like we were hoping to be 6-6 coming out of non-conference, ended up 5-7. But going into conference with some confidence, but still not fully knowing who we were. And I thought this weekend gave us a glimpse of what we could be. Both games, I thought we went toe-to-toe with I thought, one of the tougher teams in the league in UC Irvine.
Sure. And
so there was nothing to hang their heads about. And obviously UC Santa Barbara was picked to finish first, to find a way to squeak out a win against them was big time, and the margins are so small. We've lost 3 games by 1 point, so I thought that our guys deserved to win that game against Santa Barbara.
give us some assessments here. Obviously, great win against the Gauchos, 1-1 in conference, the tough non-conference schedule that you talked about. Let's start on the defensive end. Kind of give us some thoughts there from the coach.
I think that's the part that we have to figure out, continue to figure out and grow. And we've had some different lineups because we've had injuries like Kyle Owens and just random line. We've had probably like 4 or 5 different starting lineups to start the season in the first 14 games here. So I think that is the challenge, is to figure out where we can be defensive. We're still a very good defensive rebounding team. There is a discipline, and the guys know what they're doing. I just think there's a couple guys that really are, like for instance Isaiah Moses. He's still really figuring out our defense. I think Barrington Hargis is doing a good job. And it's coming down to in conference, it looks like so far, is can we guard without fouling? And right now we are second worst or worst in the conference at fouling in those first 2 games, dealing with Irvine and A.J. Mitchell at Santa Barbara, who are very, very good at getting fouled, and we got another guy coming up here in UC Davis, Eli Pepper, and T.Y., who are very good at getting fouled. So as you saw today in practice, that was a big focus for us early on. It's part of the defensive vitamins that we got to get better at. I think that we're pretty disciplined. We have an idea of what we're doing. Now we got to do it without fouling.
Working on defense, the team is. Now let's talk about offense. What are your thoughts there?
Well, it's exciting. I think it's the first time that I've had these 2 little guards to play with, and I'm myself learning how to play with these 2 little point guards, which is fun in some ways because, people say great job against Santa Barbara. That was all Isaiah Moses and Barrington Hargis. That was Isaiah Moses in the first half, getting loose and scoring 15 points, and that was Barrington Hargis in the second half, getting loose and scoring and finishing with 26. And same thing as we've done in the last 3 years. With Zion Pullen, it was a lot of Zion Pullen, just making sure to keep the ball in their hands and letting them make decisions. And both of those guys, Barrington Hargis and Isaiah Moses, man, they make good decisions, knock on wood so far. I mean, their assisted turnovers are both near 2.5 to 1. They're both nationally ranked there. So I really trust, and we just kind of create little actions that the 2 of them have the ball in their hands. And now we're playing a third guard a lot next to them, and Nate Pickens, who's had a 19-point game this year, had a big game against UCLA, and so we're looking for him to, and that's kind of the deal here. I think that if you can get a couple more guys clicking together at the same time, whether it's Isaiah Barrington and Nate, or add a Luke Turner in there, and now Kyle Owens is pretty consistent with what he does, and then Ben Gristy's, maybe he has a big game at the same time as an Isaiah Barrington and Nate, which has happened, or now Jaylon Martinez is coming on. So I think there's depth, and now we got a young one in Caleb Smith who's dynamic and who's had 2 double-digit games in the last 3 games. It's seeing, can we get 3 or 4 guys to click at the same time, and obviously by the time you get to conference championships, Big West championships, you want 4 to 5 guys clicking at the same time.
Talk about special teams. No, just kidding. But attitude of the team. What's the coach's perspective on that?
We've have a great work ethic, and we have very good attitudes. Like these guys just finished with a 3.31 GPA cumulative, which is incredible. But attitude is what we've been talking about, and it's not just like it's attitude and how you deal with adversity. It's attitude and how you approach every single day. It's attitude and of course of how you deal with the coaching. But attitude and our toughness has been a big part of what we've been trying to grow, where we've been trying to grow this year with this group. I feel like there's a lot of inexperience, and they've had to deal with adversity and how we've dealt with it. I feel like we're getting better at it. I think the practices are I call them pro practices. I feel like, knock on wood, we're starting to string together some pro practices. Just no riffraff, no emotion, just drilling practices, drilling segments. And that's good. That's a good feeling to have. So I feel like the attitude of the team is in a good place, but still plenty of room to grow. I think that's what this conference is all about. It's you look at it, there's so many great coaches, which I learned from all of them. Now you have another great coach at Northridge, and Andy Newman. Yeah. And really it's who gets their team to grow the most. In the end, like, I have no doubt that Coach Pasternak's going to get Santa Barbara to a place where they're winning and succeeding again. So it's who gets their team to grow the most as you go through the conference gauntlet.
No, absolutely. Yeah, you see it a lot with Cal State Fullerton as they develop in season with head coach Diedrich Taylor there. I mean, talk about that non-conference schedule. I know me and you have talked over the years a little bit about, oh man, sometimes it's like, should we really schedule all these games? But are you happy now that you did?
Well, I'm gonna spin it for the guys for sure. I mean, I think, again, we needed to collect experiences, and so what I told them is, like, I'm trying to speed up the growth process. Barrington and Isaiah who are turning out to be our leading scorers and playmakers, have not played Division I until this year, and so we were trying to speed up the growth process. There were some hard hits. Like Utah. Utah first half was hard. And really challenged us in Washington State second half, and just that whole game, that travel, that was a brutal trip, and we kind of laid an egg there, and we kind of just moved on from that one and tried to, we were going into finals there, so you go into the loss at Cal Baptist, a 1-point loss, where again it was a good game. Our whole mantra is try to get to the last 4 minute, under 4 minute media with a chance to win the game, and so Cal Baptist were there, and didn't go in our favor. UCLA, obviously that was a performance that instilled belief in our guys. I wish we won that game. We were up one with 40 seconds to go with the ball. Didn't work out for us. But again, it instilled belief, and I think that's what Irvine did in the first game. That they kind of extended to a 13-point lead there. We turned the ball over a little bit early, middle of the second half, and to find our way in a one-possession game with the ball 3 times, a 3-point game under 2 minutes. Was good. We just didn't execute down there and turn the ball over a couple times, big turnovers. And so that gave us confidence, and I think that now to come out with one of those, I've been very fortunate in my first 3 years as head coach. We've won a lot of those close games. We had eight games last year. We won by 1 possession or less, so I've been blessed. You think of 2-3 years ago, Arizona State, buzzer beater. I've been so blessed with winning some of those, but it was nice. That Santa Barbara went all the way down to the last second. It's just like, I wanted it for the guys so that they had belief that yes, they could do it. And it really comes down to Isaiah Barrington. Are they going to make the right play? And I trust that they will as we move forward.
Some dynamic backcourt play for UC Riverside here this year to replace the dynamic backcourt play that you had in years past. Mike Magpayo, thank you so much for the time. Good luck
Thanks,
the rest
Steven.
of the way, my friend.
Appreciate it.